Good morning, welcome to the fourth lesson. It's lovely to see you back making our Hedgehog Conservation Game in Scratch. So remember, if you have any problems with the material today, remember we've got a live lesson at 10:30 and the link will be in the description below somewhere. It's also on our website, earthgames.uk. So today we're going to add some things to make our game a winning or losing game. So at the moment people can drive the hedgehog around, eat those bugs, but then nothing happens to win or lose the game. So we're going to add a hog house, which the hedgehog will head for. To win the game, they've got to get to the hog house, but also we've got to check if they've eaten enough things and the hedgehog is healthy. So let's have a look at our game and see how we're going to do that. So the first thing you need to do, as always, is log into Scratch and find your game. So log in and go to My Stuff. Remember, my one was called Hedgehog Fun, but yours might be called something different. So here's my game loading. That's fantastic. Remember, all the lessons are also on earthgames.uk. You've got online lessons you can follow there. If you didn't catch up with it last week, and just have a look at the material there. So here's our game. To start off, we're going to add a hog house. So you're going to design your own. There's a picture of some here. So here's one that's a sort of a made one out of wood, and here's one that a hedgehog might come across, just a pile of leaves and twigs. They might use that for their hibernation. But you're going to design your own in Scratch. What you need to do, go down to the bottom right corner. So I don't think you can see that quite, so let me zoom in and move across because my face will be in the way. Hover over, choose a sprite, and we want to go to this one, paint. So we're going to design our own sprite. I think we've used this before, but hopefully you remember. Down here you name it. So we want ours to be called Hog House. So write that down here. Up here also you can write Hog House. It won't have different costumes this time like the other one. Remember, there's some good buttons to know here. This is a great one. This is undo. So if you do anything wrong, just click undo and it will undo it. This is the eraser, so you might want to use those. Now we're just going to have a look at using maybe a paintbrush for this one. We want it to be, sticks and leaves, so we need to find a nice brown. It sometimes takes a while to figure out how to use these, but just fiddle around with the sliders. I might try that. How does that look? Yeah, that looks nice brown. So design your hedgehog house however you want. So I'll have a go at drawing this and see if I can speed it up during the video. Right, so here's my finished hog house. As you can see, it looks quite enormous on here, but remember we can just use this size field at the bottom. So in here I can try different sizes. Let's see, okay, that might be a bit small. I'm going to make mine a bit bigger. Let's try 50. And remember you can click and drag it to where you want it to be. There we go. I think I'm going to hide mine over here in the nice leaves. I think it would enjoy being out of sight somewhere. So design yours and make sure you've got it in the place that you want it to be. Now we're going to look at adding some code. So go back to the code tab. There we go. But we want to add code to the hedgehog. At the moment, can you see we're in the code area for the hog house? So click on the hedgehog. That's it. Now you can see the hedgehog here, and we've got lots of code already in here, haven't we? But we're going to add some more. So if you keep scrolling down, it will make some more space at the bottom. There we go. So let's add some code here. As is often the case, we want to use a when flag clicked block. Grab one of those, put it in here. And guess what? We want a forever loop. So let's get that, put it inside here. And then we want an if loop. And same again, put it inside the forever loop like we've done before. What we want to do is check if the hedgehog is touching the hog house. So that's what we're going to add in here. Let's go to the sensing block here. So we've got touching mouse pointer, but we know that we can change that to something else. Grab that and put it in the irregular hexagon here. Click on the drop down and change it to hoghouse. There we go, right at the bottom, hoghouse. So if the hedgehog is touching the hoghouse, then what? Then we need to check if the hedgehog has got enough health. So at the moment, my hedgehog's health is 151, so that sounds pretty good, doesn't it? We need to check how many points the player can get. What can they do in your game? Now we've done a resource to help you with this. And so if you go open another tab and go to earthgames.uk and click on Learn and Online Resources. There we go. If you scroll to the bottom, in the additional resources, you'll find the hog health calculation sheet. So I've already got mine open, so I'll show it on here. Here we go. So calculating hog health. So everybody's game's different, which is the joy of creating this in Scratch. Anyone can do it how they like, can't they? So your hog house probably looks totally different to mine. Also in terms of how many worms you've got, how many beetles, everyone's going to be slightly different there. We need to answer the questions in here and put in the numbers. So I'm going to do this for my game. Remember, your one will be different. Do it what the numbers are for yours. So what is the variable hog health set to at the beginning? So you probably set it to 100. Let's go back to our code and see. So where's my game? So here's the hedgehog. It will be in the hedgehog code. We need to find the line of code where we set the hog health. Here we go. Set hog health to 100. So it was right, it's 100. So I'm going to write 100 in here. There we go. Now, how many points does the hedgehog get for eating a worm? So that's when the hedgehog touches a worm. So you'll find this in your worm sprite, and it's probably 10. Let me go and check. Here's a worm. So there we go. If touching the hedgehog, change hog health by 10. So yeah, minus 10 too. That's easy. So I put 10 in here. How many worms do I have? I can't remember. Let's go check. I've got 1, 2, 3 worms. Okay. So I go back to my form and I put in 3. Now you've got to do a little maths here, I'm afraid. So points times the number. So how many points you get per worm times the number of worms. So 10 times 3. I'm sure you shouted it out already. It's 30, isn't it? So we put 30 in here. Now, what about a beetle? So have a look in your beetle sprite and see how many points we get for eating a beetle. Here we go, same again, change hog health by 10. So if you put different values in there, you're going to need to really make a note of these ones. And how many beetles do I have? Let's have a look again. I've got 1, 2, 3. Lovely. And then again, we times these two together to get how many points we might get. We would get 30. There we go. And how many points does the hedgehog get for drinking from the pond? So that's when the hedgehog touches the pond. You'll find this in the pond sprite, the shallow pool. So let's have a look. Where's my shallow pool? There we go. So there we go. Change hog health by 1. That's easy. 1. And I've only got 1 pond, so this doesn't count. So I only get 1 point for eating from the pond. Now I need to add everything together. I haven't quite lined this one up right, but hopefully you can see we get 161 would be the maximum number of points. That one's not working very well there. Let me delete that number. Let's try again. There we go. That's meant to be 161. I'm sure you can do it just with pen and paper. It'd probably be a lot easier than on here. There's one question at the bottom here. Can you think of a way a player could get more points than we've calculated? I'll leave you to think about that one for a moment and come back to it in a bit. So 161. I'm going to use this in my game now. So go back to the hedgehog and to the code we were creating at the bottom. There we go. So if touching hoghouse. So we want to check if it's touching the hoghouse, but also if the health is good enough. So from the control category, we want to get this loop, which is if, then, else. So it's slightly different. So we want to make sure you get the right one. So not this one, which we've been using lots, but this one underneath, if, then, else. So make sure you get the right one, which looks a bit bigger, and put it inside the other one. So we've got if it's touching the hoghouse, then you're checking if it's also health is greater than a certain value. So from the operators category, we need the greater than, so this one here. And grab that and put it in that irregular hexagon there. So we want to know if hog health is greater than a number. So let's find hog health in the variables category. There we go. And in my calculations, I got 161. What we're going to do, or try initially anyway, is try 161, take away 10. So whatever your maximum value is, take away 10. So that would make it 151. So if hog health is greater than 151, that means the hedgehog will have done most things. It will have eaten all of the worms, all of the beetles, and had a drink from the pond, but it might have been in the netting or something like that to reduce the health a little, and they'd still win. Great. Let me start that one again. There we go. That looks good. Okay, so now we're going to add something that happens in here. From the looks category, we're just going to use this top block here, which is say hello for 2 seconds. We're not going to say hello. You get to choose what to say. So I'm going to say hoghouse, so people know what it is. And I'm going to add another one in and say something else. And then I'm going to say congratulations. You've won. But you could say something like, congratulations, your health is very good, you'll survive hibernation, you've eaten enough beetles and worms. You can add whatever messages you want here. What we need to do then is make the code stop. So from the control category, at the bottom, there we go, we've got this one here, which I don't think we've used before, stop all. We're going to add this one on, so click and drag this one, there we go, stop all. We've added quite a lot of code there. I want to check that it works. So I'm going to try and win my game. So I'm going to eat all my beetles and worms and see if I touch the hog house then, if it works. So my hog health is 153. I've eaten everything. I'll have a little drink as well. There we go. If I touch the hog house now, what happens? Great, it says hog house. Congratulations, you've won. Fantastic, that works. That's our winning bit then. We need to add something if they touch the hog house but their health isn't good enough yet. Again, go to the looks category, get say hello for 2 seconds, but we don't want to say hello, we want to say something like, wow, whatever you choose. I'm going to say hog house first, just so they still know it's a hog house, and then I'm going to say, sorry, your health isn't good enough, try again. There we go, got there in the end. And same as we did before, no, not same as we did before, we don't want to stop everything then. We want to add a wait block just so they've got time to think about it and consider the messages that they've received there. Let's click the green flag. Now I want to test the losing thing, so I want to go to the hoghouse and try out this bit and see if I get the right messages. Hoghouse. Sorry, your health isn't good enough. Try again. That looked good to me. And then, can you see the messages started again straight away? I'm going to make this wait block into 2 seconds so the messages don't go straight away. Let's try that out. Luckily, I've only eaten 2 things, so my health is still not good enough. And then you could go away. Yeah, I think that looks good. I've tested that, that's brilliant. Now we want something else to check if the hedgehog has died. Unfortunately, some hedgehogs do die. It happens, doesn't it? We want to look and check if the hog health goes low enough. So if it goes below 0, then we're going to say the hedgehog has died. We'll add some more code for that. Again, we want a when flag clicked block. From the control category, we want a forever loop and then an if loop. So we're always going to be checking that the health is above 0. So in here, we want to look for an operators category. We want to get this one. So greater than, if the hog health is greater than. And from the variables category, we need hog health. There we go. And we're going to say 1 here. So if the hog health is greater than 1, then you're still okay, aren't you? And if not, if it's less than 1, no, have I done it the wrong way around? If hog health is greater than 1, yeah, I've done it the wrong way around, haven't I? We need the other block, don't we? See, even I make mistakes, even though I've done this so many times. There we go. So if hog health is less than 1, luckily I spotted that. That's why it's important to check your code, because it's easy to make mistakes for anybody. So if hog health is less than 1, then you've died, oh dear. So we need to put some messages in there. Say something like, sorry, you died. Now I'm going to add another one. Say, try again next time. This time we need to add what we added on here, the stop all block. This is in the control category. There we go, and scroll down a little. There we go, we've got stop all. Okay, now we need to test this code. This is a bit harder to test. The easiest thing to do is go and sit in the netting for a while. There we go. Can you see the hog health is going down? It's going to take a little while, so I might speed this one up in the video. There we go. You can see it now. It popped up with the messages saying, sorry, you died. And can you see everything's stopped now? The hedgehog's not moving anymore. The beetles aren't moving anymore. And that's what this stop all block does. It stops all the code in the whole game. There we go. We've added our winning and losing stuff. Now, let me tell you about what we're going to do next week. So you've done an amazing job. We've finished a basic game. Try it out on your friends. See what people think. Can you make any improvements? There was one question I missed in there, wasn't there? Do you remember I said, what would make the player get more points? Well, it's going to the pond and more times than just one, because we only counted 1 going to the pond. And you get 1 point for each time you go there. So if you went more, you could end up with more points. So that's the answer to that one. Next week, we'll be adding even more exciting stuff. We'll be adding another hazard. We'll be adding a deep hole, because do you remember hedgehogs, if they fall in deep holes, they can't get out again. Their legs are only small. and so if they fall in, they can get stuck and unfortunately die. So we'll be adding that to our game. We'll also be adding a badger, because badgers compete with hedgehogs for food and can sometimes harm them as well. We'll add those to our game next week, so do join us next week, 10 o'clock, and continue making your fantastic game. If you've got any questions, join us at 10:30 for the live Q&A session. If you haven't got time to join us then do use our website. We've got the Ask an Expert link. Ask us a question, send us your coding queries, and we'll do our best to answer them. Thank you for joining us, and see you next week. Bye.